up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. So I am back with another video for you guys. Now, baby, the ish is hitting the fan. So as we all know, Halle Bailey has, filed a temporary restraining order against her baby daddy DDG, citing and alleging abuse. She was granted that temporary restraining order and kind of made it so DDG is not able to. She requested that he not be able to talk about her child and her family and none of his family, and none of them talk about the child, while she gets a temporary restraining order. She gets to do whatever she wants to do, and DDG is kind of just been sitting back trying to process all of this that's going on. But baby, today, if I'm not mistaken, DDG has filed an emergency order against Halle Bailey, child. So this is getting messy in these streets. He has filed an emergency order to stop Halle Bailey from taking their son to Italy for 2 months, alleging she's emotionally unstable, threatened to unalive herself, has hit him, tracked him with air tags, withheld their son to control him, and once drove while with the baby in the car. So these are things that he's alleging. He's requesting full custody, a ban on international travel to protect the child, third-party custody exchanges, and court-monitored communication. He submitted text, injury photos, and witness statements as evidence. So DDG has presented some information along with some receipts to prove that Halle Bailey is not stable to have that child full time. So now he's requesting certain things. First she did it, now he's responding. These are some photos that he posted of his finger. His finger looks cut. It looks pretty bad. But these are photos and alleged text to support DDG's claims against Halle Bailey. They've been all released. I want to know y'all thoughts on this one, because like I said before, we always hear the woman side of things, and the women tend to get their way, but we never hear the men, because usually the men don't say much. They just be quiet. And this is why I think it's important for you to speak out and not just let one-sided narratives go full steam ahead. Now, we are not familiar with this case. We weren't there, so we don't know fully what happened. We're just going off of the information that's put out there. These are some text messages. I'm gonna try to read this as best I could because it's small, y'all. So it says Daryl's phone. It says, put it down. I don't know what he's saying, put down. He's saying that's not nothing to play with. And then there's a picture of him holding a child. You're going to let him go through life without a mom. That's what DDG is saying. And then he goes on to say, I have to call the police. And then he says, I can't let this happen. Then it goes down to Halle, allegedly. She's saying, I tried calling. It's just weird. You wouldn't think to check on me if I made it safely. This is my point. After a day like yesterday and the things you said to me, you are just not capable of showing me any affection or love. I call and you send me to the voicemail like I'm disturbing you, like I'm just a fly that's in your way. This post says AirTag reportedly placed inside the baby's bag. So DDG is claiming that she put AirTags in the baby bag, I guess to, track or trace where the child is. This is some more text messages look like, and it just shows a file attachment. And then it shows allegedly Halle saying, answer the effing phone, answer the effing phone. I'm going to try one more time. If you don't answer, it's over forever. This is her allegedly threatening him. And then she says, I'm not playing, Daryl. That's it. And then he says, I just want to be left alone, please. And then allegedly her response says, I'm calling for help. And then she says, I have a knife. Then this is allegedly Halle saying, I just thought we'd do what I wanted to do today since it's Mother's Day. And then she says, but if you really want to, you can go. But if you really want to go, you can. And then she says, I'll just go home and pack. And then Halle also says, hello. And then Daryl responds, he says, if you don't come back here, I'm going to call the police. I don't want you to do something stupid. Then he goes on to say, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. And then he says, you have a son. And then he says, I know you took my gun, child. She took a gun. What? And then he goes on to say that gun has no safety. So she's saying she took the gun and the gun has no safety. Why is she taking the gun? What was that for? Then this one says, this is Halle says, I'm calling for help. She also allegedly says, but I don't care, do you? And then she says, okay. And then he says, have a knife for what? So what does she have a knife for and taking a gun? What are you doing with it, baby? This is the claims that he's claiming. This is Halle. This is some more alleged text message where she says, this is proof. She goes on to say, you leave me hanging as a mother. You don't step up when I need you to. I'm begging you. I just found out you're sleeping with somebody in Mexico. I'm going to delete myself tonight. Oh, child. Lord. Allegedly, this is Halle saying, my son will not be around for it. I hate you forever. And allegedly goes on to say, you can have him and let her be his mom. So it looks like she's responding to him allegedly sleeping with somebody else. And she's saying she's going to offer herself. You can have the son and let the alleged girl that he's allegedly sleeping with be the mom. Baby, this is some messy stuff. And these are just some of the comments that I wanted to throw in there because, you know, the comments, people are very vocal on these topics and they have a lot to say, especially women. So this person says, and this is why I still got messages from 2013. Somebody else says, y'all owe DDG an apology immediately. Another person said, this girl had postpartum, period. He wasn't supportive. We're not about to make this something it's not. Listen, I went through postpartum several times and I never did anything like that. And I know everybody's situation is different, but I think it's a little disingenuous to try to put this all on postpartum. No, she has admittedly talked about her mentality and her behavior, which I'll play in a second. Don't try to make it like postpartum means you just go crazy and do anything, because it doesn't. Someone else says she's desperately wanted her family. He played in her face. Who cares? Like, let's wrap this up ASAP. And I think they want to wrap it up because now he's filing something against her and he has some receipts and now they don't want to hear it. It's just funny to see these types of comments. Someone else says, are we reading the same messages? How does this help him? LOL. Another person says, Daryl deserves an apology immediately. So some people are saying he deserves an apology. Somebody else says, people like this is why Trump is president. What does that have to do with it? It can be right in their faces and they still will find excuses. Halle had nothing but restraint bruises versus DDG with knife gashes. Make it make sense. He ain't abused her. He was defending himself. The only master manipulator is Halle. So that's somebody who's in favor of DDG. They're saying, look, that looked like a knife wound in his thumb. But, you know, they're saying that the bruises that she presented look like somebody trying to grab you and stop you. Somebody else says, now Halle and Daryl, I love y'all both, but y'all are really pissing me off. Somebody ain't here for it. The next commenter said, now who typed this up on Microsoft Word? Some people were speculating that these text messages look fake. I don't know. So when she posted her pics and messages, it was, oh my gosh, I knew he was abusive. He this, he that. But now he posted his and now it's postpartum. Nah, he made her do it. Oh no, he edited it. Y'all are funny. That's true. I went through postpartum and was not abusing my son's father. Exactly. I went through postpartum and didn't pick up any weapons. Exactly. Sometimes women use postpartum as an excuse to do certain things. I called it. Amen. I definitely agree. It's not like that. And a lot of these people have not experienced that. So they're just assuming. But there are women, including myself, who actually went through postpartum with several of my pregnancies. And none of them did I want to go take my life or take my child's life. It's a different type of, it's not necessarily that type of depression. You could feel lost and disconnected from the baby. Once again, everybody is different, but I definitely wouldn't just be putting all of this on postpartum. Most people don't want to hear DDG's side. Like most women, they don't want to hear the man's side whatsoever. They don't want to be objective and open to the possibility that some of these women could be wrong. They just automatically want to take defense of the women without hearing the man's side, and a lot of them are clearly wrong. Let's move on. Here we go.
Relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate. I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling, with my words, everything. I'm good at that, right? And if I gotta yell or check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person, but if somebody pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries. Sorry.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason. Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for
Put it down.
I've, you know.
Now listen, they laughing and all, and it's cute and all, but she's telling her truth, as they would say. She's telling her truth. This is her telling her truth. It's coming out of her mouth. So I gotta believe what you were saying. If you're toxic, you're toxic. I gotta take your word for face value. This isn't somebody else saying it about you. Even your sister pointed at you. So all of this has to be taken into account. This is what she's saying, and she seems to be telling the truth to me. Why would she lie about it? This is who she is. So why shouldn't I use logical common sense to say, listen, if this is how you act, this is how you move, then perhaps in this DDG situation, you might be moving in the exact way that you say you move. Why should I change the words and make it to be something that's more favorable when she's telling it to us what it is? Why shouldn't I believe her words that she's spewing right out of her mouth about herself?
I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me. I am nosy, number one. Number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So, I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So, he's been out here with me majority of the time. But this week, and I go home on the weekends. But this week, I had a lighter week, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I got here last night, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I was like, let me try to test myself and see if I can be without him for a day and leave him, let him and his daddy have daddy and son time. And you guys, I miss him so much. But everybody knows Moo's the best daddy to him, but I miss him so much. Yesterday on the plane, I was crying, and I went to, you know, the little airport stores. I bought a teddy bear, and I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear and a blanket, and I was clutching it to my chest, literally on the plane last night, crying to not feel like miserable without him.
Now listen, I've been a first-time mom. You know, y'all know I have several children. Baby, I understand motherhood and how it could be difficult. You could have separation anxiety from your kid, especially your first one. Well, baby, listen, if your child is with their father that you trust to create this life with, and you know that they love them and not gonna hurt them, it does seem a little strange in my opinion, to be that, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you have to buy a teddy bear and clutch it because your child is with the father, or you're having anxiety because your child is going to go with the father. I understand wanting to make sure that your child is safe, and especially, you know, as women, we are emotional creatures, and we cry over them their first day of school, and we just want them to be protected. I get it. I have children. I get it. But at the same time, you know, my husband would take, you know, our babies to the doctor's office or take them with him somewhere. I wasn't having anxiety. I trust that he knew what he was doing. He's taking them. He's going to protect them. That seems a little much to me. And I know everybody is different, but it doesn't mean that it's not an issue. If you can't stand your child to go anywhere, that could be a problem. Especially with these celebrities, y'all got to work. You're not going to be able to have your child 24/7. Fortunately for me, I was able to be at home and be with my kids for their upbringing. So I didn't have that issue, but then I knew that if they went with their father, they would be fine. They're protected. That give me a chance to do other things or catch up on other things. I wasn't clutching my pearls and getting teddy bears and all of this. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that says a lot. There is something else there, in my opinion, just my opinion. And, you know, that could show that there's some type of issue there, because everybody, you know, you have your children, you want to keep them safe, but you know, there's certain instances where you're not worried about that. But, you know, that's just my thoughts on it. But listen, let's continue.
I love him so much, guys. I don't know how this is possible. Anyway.
On reference to this idea that women are not always as innocent as what they claimed, I wanted to go to the original TMZ article when this was posted. Within it, it's gonna have the pictures that she included within the restraining order. Now I'm gonna skip the pictures of there being bruises on her arm because YouTube generally doesn't like photos like that. But what I will show is that she included this photo of a chipped tooth. Now she's saying that DDG did this to her back in March, yet she posted this video January 22nd, 2025.
I've always been a little scared of the dentist, but I'm going for my regular cleaning and also because I chipped my tooth and I'm just a little nervous.
Now I'm blowing these two photos up for you guys. The one on the left is the video of her back in January, and the one on the right is back in March. Is the TMZ photo that is posted on their website of the DV claimed to happen back in March. These are eerily similar, if not the same damn incident, but let's say that it wasn't. Perhaps due to dental work in the past, she had something loose over here and it came loose back in March. And then she just snapped another photo. I'd also like to point out that typically chipped teeth that come from DV, generally there's something else on the face.
Exactly.
Like there's usually bruising, cuts, something else as a supplement as to how the chip occurred in the first place.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying too. Listen, look, I've seen people who have been beaten up by their boyfriends, who've been hit in the face, slammed on the ground, and their faces are bruised, swollen. I mean, a hot mess, tooth missing. That's it. A little chipped tooth. No, nothing else. If you know, I'm just saying, and I'm just being optimistic or open-minded about this. I'm not saying something did or did not happen, but just using your common sense. If somebody slammed your head on a car, you're gonna have a bruise on your head. You might have a bruise somewhere else, plus maybe a chipped tooth or something more, swelling and all of this. So I'm like, you know, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, and I just think we have to be more honest about you know, our responses to what we're hearing and what we're seeing, and not just be ready to jump to anybody that just claims a man did them something, oh, and we just believe them wholeheartedly. Come on now. But then once again, when a man claims, hey, she was the one grabbing on me, she was the one hitting on me, she was the one oh, that's hard to believe. Come on now. Let's continue.
Wasn't just you biting on something hard like a fork or something like that,
right?
Then there's usually something else on the face.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I want you to be the judge of all of this that is being surfaced to you right now in terms of what you think. But personally, I am damn tired of the same tried and true dusty ass method of controlling the child to get back at the father, prioritizing your bitterness towards the father in lieu of what's best for your child. Is disgusting work, disgusting behavior, if that's what occurring. But it's like I always said, innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly, innocent until proven guilty. And I think, listen, it's our job and our duty to look at all of the information that's being presented and make a decision based on that. You know, we weren't there. We don't know fully what happened. But we've seen so many stories where men have been lied on for women to gain that control and access to the things that they want. And she's clearly said she has anxiety to the point where she got to get a bear and hug it. And she's crying because she don't want to be without her child in her presence. If she wants control and she wants to have her child with her 24/7, it wouldn't be surprising to me to make up a scenario to where you can get what it is that you want and not really care about the other person. And I don't understand when people look, when you go and make a baby with somebody, you understand that that child is theirs as well. They have legal rights to their child. It's not just yours. If you don't want to be able to share your child with the father of the child, then go get a sperm donor. Don't have a child, or go get you a sperm donor where you can have the child and the child was 100% for you, and there's nobody else that can come in and have a say. We were not there. We don't fully know what happened or what didn't happen, but we know that in a lot of these cases, a lot of times, you know, there's not so much truthful information being put out there. And a lot of times we don't hear the man's side. We just hear the woman's side, and that they're automatically believed. And the men just either suffer in silence or go their own way and don't worry about it. But I think it's important for men to speak up as well. If you are the victim in these situations, y'all need to speak up. Y'all got to stop being quiet. You got to stop sitting back and letting it just happen because you don't want to look a certain way. No, you got to speak up. And so I think it's fair that DDG is putting out his side of the story and that he's asking for something too, and not just letting it just go the way she wants it to go, especially if he is innocent in these charges. If he didn't do what she said he did, and if she's doing what he said he did, accountability needs to be taken. There needs to be consequences. And I think, once again, men need to start documenting things. Y'all need to start recording. Y'all need to start writing things down. Y'all need to make sure you put down dates, report stuff, do everything that you can so these women won't have a chance to just make it up or try to lie if that's the case. So listen, I want to hear y'all thoughts on this one too. Y'all let me know in the comments. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, y'all. Definitely chime in. What are your thoughts on this whole Halle Bailey DDG situation? What do you think about her claims of saying he assaulted her and all of these things and chipped her tooth? And then the timeline of the chipped tooth is different from when she said all of this happened. What do you guys think about DDG actually coming out and making some demands with his lawyer as well? Definitely chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.